I know the story happened 4 days ago, but I've been away from the computer I've been on the computer, but doing all sorts of stuff due to the holidays. And it's time for me to talk about it because I forgot to talk about it today. Well, yeah, today for me, tomorrow, yesterday for you, so on and so forth. Microsoft and Activision hit back at the FTC's attempt to block their merger. Call of Duty publisher claims that the U.S. competition regulator is turning antitrust on its head, and it kind of looks like it when you take into account that a lot of these FTCs and these regulators are kind of doing this on the behest of Sony. And I think, from what I'm seeing, Microsoft has a valid point. Tons of valid points, even though, again, this is the initial stages, so you kind of have to make yourself look stupid and in a bad light to get things to move forward. It's just how it is. And I'm laughing because they think the FTC is acting unconstitutional, which, to be fair, I think all the three-letter agencies are unconstitutional, but that's just me. Microsoft and Activision have responded to the U.S. Federal Trade Commission's FTC legal attempt to block the company's planned merger. Earlier this month, the FTC announced plans to file a lawsuit in a bid to stop Microsoft's $69 billion acquisition of Activision, which it urges would enable the company to suppress competitors to its Xbox console and its subscription content and cloud gaming businesses, which it wouldn't because it doesn't make sense. How the gaming industry works is it's not going to... Them acquiring Activision Blizzard just gives them new titles. Gives them new titles, some creators, some new IPs. That's it. Kind of like how Disney purchases a lot of their IPs. They don't make stuff anymore, they buy it. Now, I would argue Disney is a monopoly, while I would counter-argue Microsoft purchasing Activision Blizzard would not make it a monopoly, considering how big the gaming industry is. Activision Blizzard might be the largest gaming developer in the world, but that's because they have several IPs. Successful IPs, but that have been dwindling. The only still successful IP is Call of Duty, which is the key here, remember. In this whole Activision-Microsoft merger thing, it's always Call of Duty that is the key. Nothing else. They don't care about Diablo, Overwatch, or any of those games. They care about Call of Duty. Among other concerns, regulators scrutinizing the deal have expressed worries that the deal could significantly reduce PlayStation's ability to compete, given that it would see Microsoft gain ownership of the Call of Duty series. Well, this is the problem. And honestly, Microsoft hits back a little bit with some of the exclusivity games. Here's the issue. PlayStation has exclusive games. It's going to be a couple years before the new God of War becomes a PC game. Be a couple years before that. Last of Us, from my understanding, isn't a PC game yet. Last of Us 1 might. Last of Us 2, which we don't acknowledge, I don't think is. And even if it was, I wouldn't buy it. There's a lot of games that PlayStation owns that have exclusivity that are very popular. Very big games. So by saying, hey, well, this Call of Duty game, which is bigger over on PlayStation, could now be exclusive to Xbox, so that's antitrust and anti-competitive, well, that's a possibility. We don't even know if that's going to be a thing. We don't even know if that's a possibility. And also, to mitigate it, Xbox and Microsoft have constantly been offering deals to Sony, and Sony keeps turning them away. So it more looks like Sony's just mad that they didn't get to Activision Blizzard first. That's how it's starting to look like, because Microsoft has been offering really good deals. Day one deals on your PlayStation Plus. 10-year guaranteed deals. Nintendo took the deal. Why didn't PlayStation take the deal? Why didn't Sony take the deal? Because they don't want this deal to go through. Because they're mad that they don't have exclusive rights to Call of Duty. Confession through projection. In lengthy response to the FTC's complaint, which were filed on Thursday, Microsoft and Activision argued that the merger would be pro-competitive and benefit consumers by making the Call of Duty publishers' games more broadly available. Technically, it would. It would become easier to get access through the subscription service, through the cloud games that Microsoft wants to do, and on your phone, because they want to put Game Pass on your phone. Now, I'm not a huge fan of mobile gaming. It is on the rise. There's reasons it's on the rise. CPP. But all that considered, they have a point. You would be able to get access to a lot of these games a whole lot faster and more broadly if this deal goes through. That, again, that would take a little while to set up, but that is something that Microsoft could do. And that is a benefit. It is pro-competitive because it would then push Sony to do the same thing. It would push every company to start doing the same thing. I don't like it. I don't like mobile gaming, but it's true. The acquisition of a single game by the third-place console manufacturer can't upend a highly competitive industry. True. Remember, even if this deal goes through, Xbox is only the third largest gaming company in the world, under Tencent and Sony. I don't remember which one's on top, but it would still only be the third largest gaming company in the world. It is also the third top console right now, under Nintendo Switch being number one, then PlayStation, then Xbox. So you have to remember that. This is third largest console in the world as of right now. Not even top 3 gaming companies out there as of right now, Microsoft claimed. That is particularly so when the manufacturer has made it clear it will not withhold the game. The fact that Xbox's dominant competitor has thus far refused to accept Xbox's proposal does not justify blocking a transaction that will benefit consumers. Giving consumers high-quality content in more ways and at lower prices is what the antitrust laws are supposed to promote, not prevent. True. Remember, it's starting to look more and more like all these regulators and stuff are just doing the bidding of Sony. When you have, as I did a video on, when you have over in the UK, when they did their whole public comment period, they had more pro acquisition than against the acquisition. More people said the acquisition is good than saying it was bad. Everybody's pointing out that this acquisition is good, and they're starting to see through it. The only people wanting to block it are people in Sony's pockets, it's starting to look like. Because it only looks like they're doing Sony's bidding now. The fact that transaction, not promote, not prevent. Okay. In its complaint, the FTC claimed Microsoft has a track record of acquiring valuable gaming content, like upcoming Bethesda games, Starfield, and Redfall, and making them Xbox exclusives, despite assurance it had given to the European antitrust authorities that it had no incentive to withhold games from rival consoles. And that misrepresents what Xbox says, and Xbox even catches them in that, because they said it was going to be a case-by-case basis. Xbox kindly points that out. Well, Microsoft points that out. Also, when you say, hey, you can't make these games, you can't make these games exclusive to your console. You purchase this thing. You can't make them exclusive. Sony's bought stuff and made them exclusive. Why is it okay when they do it and wrong when Xbox does it? Why is it okay that Sony has exclusive games and Xbox can't? The more you start thinking of it like that, the more it becomes more and more apparent that they're just doing what Sony wants them to do. They don't care. Sony threw a fit, went to the government, and now the government's coming down on their competitor. Kind of shady and kind of scummy. Microsoft rejected these claims and its response, while confirming it anticipates that the 3 future Bethesda titles, redacted, all of which are designated to be played primarily alone or in small groups will be exclusive to Xbox and PCs. The games Microsoft is referring to could be Starfield, Redfall, and The Elder Scrolls 6, all of which have previously been confirmed as Xbox and PC exclusives, or other titles which has yet to be announced. Any suggestions that Microsoft's statement to the European Commission about ZeniMax were misleading is incorrect. Microsoft explicitly said it would honor Sony's existing exclusivity rights and approach exclusivity for future game titles on a case-by-case basis, which is exactly what it has done. What they're trying to say is, well, Microsoft, you said that your consoles won't have any exclusive games. Okay, well, they have a few exclusive games, even though they said they would do it case by case, because you have to have some games to try to sell your console. If your consoles were constantly, hey, yeah, anybody gets them at all, why buy your console? Why not just buy the better one? Why not just buy PlayStation over and over again, and then just get your stuff? You're no longer a console seller. You're just a developer then. Xbox, Microsoft is a console seller as well, so they have to have some games that are exclusive. That's the reality. If you can't have some games that are exclusive, why buy any system? Why not just go to the best system? If all games were cross-platform, just buy the Switch. It's easier. I like the Switch. Now the Steam Deck does some more things, but that's neither here nor there. That's getting across the point. You're basically saying that Microsoft needs to be a developer, not a console maker. And Sony gets to be the console maker, only console maker out there, along with Switch, and they have they can do exclusive games. They have exclusivity. It's okay if they do it. You can't. That's not right. Case by case basis. Okay. Which exactly is what it's done. The European Commission agrees it was not misled, stating publicly the day after the complaint that Microsoft did not make any commitments to the European Commission, nor did the European Commission rely on any statements made by Microsoft about the future distribution strategy concerning ZeniMax games. Boom. In Activision's response to the FTC complaint, it accuses the regulator of misreading the realities of the competitive gaming industry and turning antitrust on its head. Microsoft and Activision came out swinging from the gates, and I think rightfully so, because it doesn't seem right. We just went through exclusivity. It doesn't seem right that Sony gets to have exclusive games, but Microsoft can't. Doesn't seem right that Sony can go out and maybe acquire a company here or there, maybe small companies, make them bigger, make them more pronounced, and Xbox can't. Granted, they're taking Activision Blizzard, one of the biggest companies, but still you have other major companies all over the place. I did a video just last week over Rockstar and their parent company. That's still that's still a company out there. Those are still games that are not exclusive. AAA titles right there. I went over that. We have other titles and platforms all over the place. Ubisoft. You have all sorts of stuff all over the place. But this one, no, you can't acquire this one. No. You can't have this one because it has Call of Duty attached to it. The FTC ignores the significant benefit of the transaction in favor of a rapt attempt to ignore the facts and rewrite antitrust law and settled precedent to protect Xbox competitors from hypothetical harm that has no basis in marketplace realities. True, because it doesn't make sense to make Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox. And here's why. Like I said earlier in the video, Call of Duty is more pronounced and more played over on PlayStation. PlayStation is the second largest platform sold under the Switch. The Switch is about to have Call of Duty itself. Call of Duty is more played on PlayStation. It doesn't make any sense to make that exclusive when it's not going to be a console selling title. It just won't. More people will buy it, and it makes more sense to have it stay over on PlayStation and have PlayStation people buy it and then put money in your pocket. That makes more economic sense. Adding Activision's content to multi-game subscriptions and cloud gaming where it would not have been available otherwise is plainly output enhancing and gives gamers, even though the tech garners gamers though, more options on how and where to engage with Activision content. Yes, it might be under Microsoft, but it will give Activision more ability to move around, utilizing cloud-based gaming, utilizing the mobile market, even though I hate the mobile market, but it's true. They even offer to put Activision games on PlayStation Plus, allowing PlayStation to have their subscription service get Activision Blizzard games. Wow. But no, PlayStation said no. Funny. Activision, and particularly its King division, will also enable the acceleration of Xbox's early, non-existent mobile gaming business, which would enhance competition in the fastest growing segment of gaming. I hate that it's fastest growing. I hate that mobile gaming is becoming a thing, but it's true. Microsoft getting into the mobile game industry puts Google on its heels. It puts Apple on its heels, and it will push Sony to do the same thing. It becomes competitive. We right now have a really weird system where we have biopolies, where two companies own everything, and you have all sorts of monopolies everywhere, but no, the FTC's fine with them. No, you guys are perfectly fine. But this one, no, you can't do this one because you become a monopoly now. Yeah, that's definitely it. It's not Sony crying to the government because they don't want to lose any hypothetical position with Call of Duty. Non-existent mobile game, which largest in the world. And the transaction will ultimately expand the capital support and talent available to Activision's games development studios, driving further innovation in new games and technologies. Yeah, more people. This becomes a new competitor into the space, and everybody has to start putting out better content. Everybody has to start fighting. Everybody has to start competing, and only the top dogs win. Competition is good. It continued. The FTC's disregard for these benefits to consumers and focus on supposed harms to Xbox's deep-pocketed competitors betrays a fundamental disconnect between the FTC's theories and the antitrust laws' underlying purpose, which is to protect competition, not competitors. The FTC is asking this court to protect the world's largest gaming companies from further competition from Xbox, and thereby turning antitrust on its head. Boom! Now, I am not a lawyer. I'm a layman. And what I see here is a mic drop moment. Because it really does look like that. From a layperson, this really does look like the FTC working on behest of Xbox's competitors, who have more money, who are bigger companies, and are bigger in the gaming industry than Xbox. Because Xbox lost a lot of standing in the gaming industry. They haven't had good games for a long time. They might be acquiring a new thing to try to shake things up, but let's be real, they've been having missteps left, right, and center. This deal seeks to protect Sony and PlayStation, Google and Apple, and all of them, but allows Microsoft to suffer. You can't grow anymore. No, you can't do anything else. You can't acquire anything else. Nope. Let them all keep growing and becoming stronger and putting out more stuff, have more exclusive stuff, but you can't. That doesn't seem right. And I don't like a lot of these companies, but I have to call it where I see it. You're acting kind of crappy right now and kind of shady. Turning it on its head. Blinded by ideological skepticism of high-value technology deals and by complaints from competitors, the FTC has not only lost sight of the realities of the intensely competitive gaming industry, but also the guiding principles of our nation's antitrust laws. Yeah? Because you're stifling competition and protecting competitors. You are. That's the reality of things. When the public is pointing out, hey, this is good, we like this, except for a few people here or there who say, no, it's bad, it's a monopoly, it's bad, it's going to lock Call of Duty out, when that's not even the reality of things. When you have the public saying, hey, it's okay, over in Europe, hey, maybe it's okay. No, Sony says it's not, so it's not. Both Microsoft and Activision also claim that the FTC's approach to the merger is unconstitutional because it violates their Fifth Amendment rights to equal protection and procedural due process. I don't know if that's true. I would need a lawyer that knows acquisition law, I guess, and how to deal with the FTC if that's actually true, but I'm going to have to take their word for it at this point in time. Now, it's hard to see this, and I don't know what this all is, but I think these proceedings are invalid because the structure of the commission as an independent agency that wields significant executive power and the associates constraints on, I don't even know what any of this is. It's all a bunch of articles. I see Microsoft there. I don't know. It's just randomly here. So, hey, BGC, do better. In a statement provided to CNBC, Microsoft President Brand Smith reiterated the company's confidence in its case, but said it's still open to exploring alternative ways to ensure the deal goes through. Even with confidence in our case, we remain committed to creative solutions with regulators that will protect competition, consumers, and workers in the tech sector, he said. As we've learned from our lawsuits in the past, the door never closes on the opportunity to find an agreement that can benefit everyone. They might have to find a new agreement. They might have to cut out, some subscription services here, maybe merge all the subscription services into one big one. Who knows? All that being said, I still think this deal will go through, and I am of the belief that FTC is solely doing this because Sony cried and is doing a hypothetical. Well, you guys we might lose Call of Duty. It's the biggest game on our platform. It's a third-party developer, even though Microsoft offered you a 10-year deal. A 10-year deal that was federally enforceable, meaning FTC could come down on them hard if they ever broke that deal. Nintendo took the deal. So Nintendo thought it was good. Why didn't Sony take the deal? Microsoft offered to put it on PlayStation Plus on their subscription service. Sony didn't take the deal. Why didn't they take the deal? Sony cried to the FTC to block it. Cried to the European Commission to block it. The public keeps coming out saying, hey, I don't see a monopoly being formed here. Hey, I don't see a monopoly being formed here. Microsoft even admitted they would only be the third largest gaming company, still under Sony and Tencent. I don't see a monopoly being formed here. Do you? Let me get your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Share it out with your friends. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.